What the are you doing here, little buddy? Have a rest. Just relax. Take a load off your feet.
Welcome to Antimatters. Hello everyone. On today's episode, we've got a Macro Showdown. I was going to try and tell you all about some new macro lenses I got. Maybe a little battle to see which macro is the best as well. Turns out it's not that easy, and it's a little bit hard to compare different macro lenses with each other. What I'm going to do instead is just let you witness the macro lenses for yourself. Currently I have 3 macro lenses and they're all the same make, Apexel. Here's the telephoto lens. This one's pretty epic. I think I managed to get mine for about 25 quid. It's a proper beast of a lens though, and massive compared to your phone. Next up is the 100mm macro lens. I'm a big fan of this lens and I've had one for, well, at least 3 years I believe. It's always done me well though. The third lens is the Zoom macro lens. This one actually has a picture of a snail on the box, but I don't think it'd be very good for taking pictures of snails, to be honest. It's got a hefty bit of glass on it though. You can find all 3 of these on AliExpress for pretty cheap. First lens we'll take a look at though is the telephoto macro lens. This apparently has 6x zoom. There's 3 pieces to it. You have the holder, you got the actual telescopy lens bit, which can be used on its own as well, and then a little macro lens that goes on the end. It's a pretty good setup, although the holder for the lens kind of is a bit shit. The telephoto also has variable focus, so if you want to pull in the focal point in or out, you can fiddle with this twiddly bit. To start with, here's just a plain old piece of footage from my normal camera. It's alright, but when you zoom in a little bit too far, it does get a bit junk. Here's the telephoto macro lens. First thing you'll spot is I think it's called vignetting or something, around the outside, but you can get rid of that with just a little bit of zoom, to be honest. And then the footage becomes really nice, I think. Considering the phone is over 30 centimeters away, I think this is some quite impressive footage. I think the main place where this would be really useful is what I'm filming here, is like natural setups where you can't really get your phone into places, but there's a lot happening. But with this lens, it lets you just put your camera outside and you can just zoom in. And I think it's quite amazing, to be honest. When I first got this camera, I thought it was a little bit hard to use and maybe it wasn't that good. But I have got a basic grasp of how to use it now though. And once you've got that, you can start getting some pretty nice footage. This lens definitely needs a tripod as well. If you haven't got it kind of sturdily set up, because of the zoom, it's really rattly. And it just makes kind of filming a nice piece of footage impossible, because even the smallest vibration moves the telescopic lens quite far. Out of 10, I'd rate the kind of footage quality about 7 out of 10. Usability, well, it's really hard to use, to be fair, so about 2 out of 10. I'd definitely put this lens in the experienced category. I had to film for well over an hour just to get this small amount of footage, because it's really difficult. When it clicks right though, it's 100% worth it. Because you're so far away from the ants as well, you can capture them without disturbing them in the slightest. A few little notes on its use though. Well, I recommend a highly lit area when you're trying to film. Because of the zoom and everything, it really helps to just have as much light as you can. I'm just going to let the next few videos kind of play. If you're not really too interested in the footage, I recommend skipping forward to whatever number is written on the screen now. I did make one time lapse with the telephoto macro as well, and I actually think it turned out quite well. I definitely have to try some more. The camera that I'm filming it on also has a triple zoom camera too. When I attached the telephoto macro to that, I was absolutely blown away. Because of the zoom, some of the vignetting or whatever it's called has gone, and the focal distance has got a little bit wider, which means you can get more ants in focus at once kind of thing. If your phone does have a kind of zoomed in camera that you can control, I definitely recommend giving your macro lenses a go on them. Even this little Tetramorium Chispitum is in quite nice detail, I think. She's just chowing down on some sugar. If you're interested in this lens though, I'll put the link in the description below. Next up, the 100mm macro. This is a simple and really budget friendly little macro. It has a really sturdy holder with a tripod mount, which the others don't. But as I said, I've had this lens for over 3 years, and I found it extremely versatile and very good for filming ants. For general use, I definitely rank this one the best out of all 3 I'm going to review today. It does come with a little bit of built-in zoom, which is nice. The focal length is a good distance away from the lens. This lets you get it into cramped places without kind of knocking things. Because the lens has no adjustment, it's quite nice that you can just pick it up and you know what to expect. For what is about £15, this lens is exceptional, I think. It can be a bit of a pain to focus sometimes, but the ability as well to physically move your phone back and forth to bring things into focus makes it alright, I think. Once you get the hang of kind of moving it back and forth, it becomes a lot easier. If you're wondering what the ants are as well, the first ones were Lasius flavus, and these are some Aphaenogaster G. On the triple zoom camera, the lens really does shine as well. If you're looking to start an ant channel though on a budget, or just take nice photos, this is the lens for you 100%. Let's move on to what I'll call the upgrade to the 100mm macro. This is a pretty hefty unit, this one. I guess one of the selling points of this lens is that it's a zoom macro lens, but it doesn't actually have any zoom at all. All you're doing is moving the focal range in and out. So if you move the focal range right in, you have to get the phone really close to it, and it kind of becomes bigger because of that, not because of any zoom. I thought it was a little bit cheeky that they kind of mentioned it so much. The ability to manually control the focal length though can come in quite useful. When you get it just right, you can get some really nice footage. Because this lens can collect a lot more light as well than the 100mm macro, the colours are a little bit more vibrant on the ants. It does slightly increase the quality of the footage. For that small increase in clarity though, there's a lot of faffing you gotta do. As you may have noticed at the beginning, this macro is absolutely huge. Because of its size, it does make it a little bit annoying, because when you're trying to get into spots, it's like banging on everything. When it isn't banging on the table as well, it's casting shadows on whatever you're trying to film. I definitely say that this lens it's better as an idea than an actual thing. All of the variable focus control is pretty useless as well, because to use some of the really close focal things, you've got to have the camera pretty much on the ant, and then it's pitch black. I definitely wouldn't recommend this lens actually for ant filming. You can get some nice results, but overall it's a piece of trash. I'm sure there are some niche kind of uses for this lens, but I haven't found any yet. Nothing that can't be done better and easier with the 100mm macro lens. It's a bit of a letdown, to be honest, because the build quality is amazing. It's just, well, the kind of focal length screws it all up. Where I think this lens would excel though is kind of taking pictures of kind of small flowers, things like that. Anything small that you can take pictures from the side of. Obviously you can't take pictures from above because of the shadow issues. Anyway, I hope this video has helped a few people out there. To sum it all up, the telephoto macro lens is phenomenal but really hard to use. The 100mm macro lens is your best all across the board, and the one I'd recommend to the majority of people. Then there is the zoom macro lens, which doesn't seem to be well suited to ants, and you're better off getting a 100mm macro lens, I think. I hope that helps though. Thanks for watching. Until next time, have a fabulous week. May your ants live long and prosper, and bye.